Kyle Klingman with Track Wrestling. We go out to New Jersey. Reece Humphrey, he is the head coach of the New Jersey Regional Training Center. He was a two-time All-American for Ohio State, also a World Team member. How are you, Reece?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
This is great, man. I love what you're doing. Hear great things about how you're developing people through your regional training center. Take us through that job and what you like about being able to develop talent through the RTC system.
Yeah, so we are a combined effort between Princeton and Rutgers universities. And man, it's been a wild ride, so quick, so fast. We had a lot of success. Downey was on the world team. Tyler Graff was on the world team. We had Ashnall on the national team at 70 kilos. And we have some guys up and coming. CJ Bruckey, Nate Jackson is a guy that's very underrated right now. I think he won the Medved International over in Belarus, and he was also beating Zahid with 3 seconds left at the U.S. Open, and we all know how good Zahid is and how well he finished the tournament. So I think Nate is going to really be the next one to jump out, and everybody's going to be like, where did this guy come from? But he's really been very close for the last year and a half since we've had him. And we got, both programs are just doing the most for me. They let me do basically just wrestling, which is what I've been trained to do my whole life. My dad coached Olympic teams and was second in the world himself. And so I think coaching is kind of in my blood. Been around Lou Roselli, Tom Ryan, and my high school coach was great. We won 2 state titles there. And then Coach Ayers and Coach Goodale and the assistants, Dubuque and Pritzloff and the rest of the staff is just kind of showing me and mentoring me how to do this the right way and kind of pushing me consistently. And I'm just very new to this, so I'm trying my hardest. And we've had a lot of success, but there's definitely always bumps in the roads, and they're teaching me how to deal with all that too. So it should have been a perfect place for me to start my senior level career.
I'm assuming you use a lot of these skills that you've acquired from Tom Ryan, Tervel, Lou Roselli. What kind of culmination have you had that where you take skills from each of those guys and implement them into what you do daily?
That's just what a wrestler does or should do. You're never going to be perfect at wrestling or coaching. So there's always going to be people that are better at different aspects. And if they're not better in all the aspects to a new coach like me. So I'm constantly trying to pick things up from different people. What do they do so well that makes them successful? And if you can pick up a lot from each little person you interact with, then I've been around the best. I mean, that list that I just put off, and you said Tervel too, he's one of my best friends and someone I've looked up to the whole time, training alongside of him. And, guys like Tommy Rowlands and the rest of the Ohio RTC, Angel Escobedo, Keith Gavin, JD Bergman, all these dudes are phenomenal wrestlers and phenomenal coaches. So I've been around the best, and I've tried to pick up stuff while adding my own flavor and my enthusiasm and things that I do well. So, man, it's kind of crazy looking back at all those guys. It's been a very special list to be around, and so maybe that's why it's helping so much.
Do you feel like you reached your potential in your actual athletic career as a wrestler?
Not even close. Nope. I think I was at the wrong weight class, and I don't want to make excuses. I had a really great career. But I feel like I'm the best I've ever been right now. Just because I spent so much time focusing on coaching my guys and working on technique and watching film. Some of the things that I was so focused on when I was competing, the main thing was probably making weight, which is just not good for your progression as an athlete. It helped me make some teams, and I had some confidence against the American guys, Coleman Scott, Jimmy Kennedy, Logan Stieber, Sean Bunch, or some of the guys I battled with consistently. But I think internationally I just could have done so much better. Having better results on random tournaments that I just jump into in the last couple of years. And so I think I could have been a lot better, but my results could have been worse. So I don't know, but I just think I'm the best technical athlete as of right now. And that's why I'm still trying to jump on the mat whenever I get a chance, but I don't really want to do the full grind and try and wrestle 5 matches to make the Olympic team or anything like that. So I'm not trying to compete, but I want to still throw the shoes on every once in a while.
Is it hard to hold yourself back from that? Because you're a competitor. Do you ever just get, maybe I'll do it?
No, I don't ever say maybe I'll do it because being a good coach is so important to me. I can't do both. and I've kind of figured that out. But if there is an opportunity for a beach wrestling or some sort of dual meet money match that they want to throw me in, I'm always very prepared physically for that, but I'm also ready to go on those circumstances. And I think it helps my brand. I think it helps my team because I'm training alongside them all the time, and I'm also ready to scrap at any time, which is something that my guys are very, very ready to do, maybe more ready than anybody in the country. Downey will throw on his shoes and wrestle or fight a jiu-jitsu match. Like, it doesn't matter. These guys are ready to compete, and I think that I am too. And that helps the itch that I don't, I didn't fulfill what I wanted to do. I didn't make the Olympic team. I was on the team in 11 and 13 and didn't win the Worlds or medal at the Worlds. So there's a lot left on the list, but I've also put it on the back burner because I want to be the best coach I can be, and you can't do both.
Is it strange to look at Franklin Gomez, a guy that you wrestled in the finals of the NCAA championships, and see him now wrestling Jordan Burroughs?
It's insane. I was there for at least the last match that they had, and it was quite the brutal one. And JB was the best I've ever seen him, to be honest with you, which is something that was very, very cool to watch because my first team was Jordan's first team. So I've been there for the whole thing and been alongside by the mat side basically while he was going through the first 69 matches he won, and then all the world championships and a couple bronze. And this was the best I've ever seen him. It was the scariest, the toughest, the meanest I've ever seen him. And then quarantine happened and pushed it all back. So I'm still hoping that he's at that peak, and I know he will because he knows how to turn the corner, and he's someone that's inspired me and motivated me to do a lot of different things as well. So, yeah, that was weird, but Franklin and I battled at 60 kilos. Now it's at 74 kilos. That's insane to me. It's a good 35 pounds maybe. And I think he's a little undersized for 74, but I still hang out with him and see him on trips, and we're friends, and it's always been a good relationship.
Do you actively recruit people to come into the New Jersey RTC?
I'm talking to everybody. I just know everybody in the wrestling world, so I'm going on all the trips. So I have a pretty good relationship with everybody, and I'm always looking, but it's a very difficult thing to get an actual senior level athlete to transfer schools or programs because everybody's fundraising very hard for their best guys to keep them. Even when we got Bryce Meredith, Wyoming just all of a sudden had a Wyoming RTC to basically get Bryce and then a couple other guys. But so everybody's finding the money to keep their best guys and start their own RTC because you see the benefits along the university level. But yeah, I mean, my ears are always open. My eyes are always watching the type of caliber and the type of athlete I want. When I'm looking for somebody, I'm looking for guys who are good on their feet, people who are athletic, and also people who have been bouncing around because we have a group that can bring anybody in. And we've shown that a guy like Pat Downey, who has been bouncing around, can have a lot of success and find consistency in this program. And that might be one of my best strong suits as well. And a guy like Graf, who was kind of bouncing around too, to find his home, and within a matter of 4 or 5 months of being with us, go from being 4th at the Open to making the world team, being 5th at the Worlds. So we can do it with any of those guys. And so I'm looking for athletes who are very good on their feet and who maybe don't have as much success in their riding game in folk style, because those guys tend to score all their points in freestyle, or will do better in freestyle. And so that's the kind of guys I'm looking for. If anyone's looking, if anybody's listening, you want to go check it out, go ahead and message me or something.
How do you balance that with Princeton and Rutgers? Of course, they're going after likely some of the same recruits. Do you feel like it's a little conflict of interest having to work with both?
It's not a conflict of interest. There's one day a year where it's uncomfortable, and that's the dual meet, because they're both really trying to win. And even that whole week, maybe they're strategizing and making game plans, and I just kind of stay as much away from the practice when they're doing that. And I would never tell the other squad what the other guys are working on. But I feel like a spy. I feel like they view me as one, even though I'm clearly not, and I'm on both sides. But that would be the only The only time it's a little bit more awkward is that week before the duel. But recruiting, they don't tend to recruit many of the same athletes. And as they're both getting better, there starts to be a few that they are both going after. And so that gets a little bit stressful, but they know that I'm all in for both programs. And, that's just part of the job. And these guys, they do a very, very good job of dropping the ego and working together, because they know that having the NJRTC be successful is helping both programs separately, but at the same time.
If you have followed you on Instagram, which I'm assuming 70,000 people close to right now do, they know that you're entertaining, you like to dance. And so if you're ready right now, we are going to play a game called the Hot Box. We're going to ask you 5 questions, hoping to make you sweat.
All right. Okay. I'm pretty cool and calm under pressure, but I'm ready.
All right. Question number 1. What is the art to being a good dancer?
Focus, man. It's something that can be taught. And everybody that's not a good dancer has so many excuses. But the fact is, how often do you dance? Look in the mirror, dance. If you're a kid, dance, look in the mirror. And like now on YouTube, there's no excuses. My little boy, Savage Boy Parker, on Instagram, if you follow him, is teaching himself how to flip. I'll show him some tips here and there, but this dude is Googling, YouTubing, figuring out how to flip. If you want to learn how to dance, you can find a tutorial on it. I got a couple buddies in choreography. Will the Beast Adams is one of my good friends I went to high school with, and he's been a choreographer for Chris Brown and T-Pain and a couple other people. So look him up. There's a bunch of different ways to figure it out, but me and my boys, we just figured out how to break dance. We used to go to the Wendy's parking lot and lay out cardboard and like start to throw a party until we get kicked out. That's what we used to do back in high school. So it's like putting the time in. It's just like anything else. Anybody can dance.
Question number 2. As we mentioned, you have close to 70,000 Instagram followers. Let's say you're given this scenario. Someone offers you and they say, Reece, we're going to put you up to 50 million Instagram followers. But the stipulation is we have to wipe all of your wrestling credentials clean. You will never be in the media guide for Ohio State. No one will know your credentials, but you're going to probably be solid financially for the rest of your life. Would you do it?
No way. No, I don't care about followers, man. It's cool that people are paying attention to the things that I'm doing and the things, because I mean, if I was trying to get followers, I would do my social media a lot different. I really just post a lot of family content and happiness and creativeness and athletic challenges, but I could brand it so much easier, so much better if my goal was to get more followers, and it's not. My goal is to promote happiness and to promote having a good time and not taking things so seriously. So 50 million followers, that'd be crazy because you'd be rich and probably famous. You're obviously famous, but no, man, it doesn't mean anything to me. Winning the U.S. Open was very, very difficult, and especially if it was just given to me. I don't like to work for my stuff, and man, no. So no, not even close.
Well, let's take question number 3. Your dad was a world silver medalist. When you were going through wrestling and you were striving for your goals, did that ever enter your mind that you wanted to have better credentials than your dad?
Definitely. I'm going to go with yes and no, because he did such a good job of not pushing me into wrestling. I didn't even know he wrestled the first time I went to practice. He came and he coached my first middle school practice, which I started in 6th grade, which is decently late for guys who grow up with dads that wrestle like that much. And he started showing moves at practice, and I was like so confused, like, dude, you're good at doing push-ups and stuff, but what are you doing showing moves? And I had no idea. But so he did such a good job of not having me fill the shoes, like I really was so clueless. And whether he convinced me of that, I mean, all his friends were wrestlers and everybody coming over was always wrestlers, but I'd never like really put it together that he was who he was, coaching 2 Olympic teams and being a world silver medalist. And so I always use it as a positive thing, and that's just more credit to him and how he portrayed his success. And he knew that wrestling is very difficult and you got to be doing it for yourself to be able to go all in. And he did just a phenomenal job of showing me how to do that.
Question.
But I'm gonna give you the yes. Why? Because once I did find out, once I started winning U.S. Opens and things like that, I was always I wanted to win the Worlds, of course, and make the Olympic team would have been just great to be able to do one step against my old man. And one good example is he had his closest match at the U.S. Open was 12-2, and I was going into the finals, and I had 4 10-0 tech falls. And so I thought, like, oh man, I'm gonna get it. And then I had a close match with Maple in the finals, and so I blew it. But so yeah, I had it in the back of my head, like I would have liked to beat him, but he's just one step ahead, still is. But I got Coach of the Year at 32, and he got Coach of the Year at 38 or something. So I got him there, first one to Coach of the Year.
So you got him on something.
One thing.
Question number 4: when you wake up tomorrow, what will the first hour of your day look like?
Okay, so I'm gonna get up, brush my teeth, clean the house a little bit. I got kids. It's like a tornado in here every day. The house is spotless, and I don't know how it happens. It's just a disaster the next day. So I always have something to pick up. And then I normally go into my morning workout, which is going to be some sort of a lift / cardio. Like I might do stance motion for 20 minutes by myself or jog. And this one thing that's decently funny, I didn't think I even knew how to jog before I stopped competing. I always just ran. I was always visualizing Stever or Coleman ahead of me. So I was always racing somebody, and I would get myself totally exhausted. But now I'm an old man. I'm just a coach. I can jog. I just literally go out and feel good. I'm smarter than I used to be. Feel good, and then not ruin my lift afterwards, which is probably my most important, to me, the most important physical work that I do, because it's just something I enjoy doing, and I like to have a career in fitness at one point. So I'm doing a lot of research on that. So lift, hang out with my kids, and then maybe, do some social media stuff and check my emails and things like that before we get everything really going for the day and I'm getting ready for practice.
Final question. You are stranded on a desert island for a full year, but you are given one song to listen to, one picture to hold on to, and you have one wrestling match you can watch. What would you pick for each of those?
Oh, man. This is tough. Now I'm starting to sweat. No. So I want it for a year. I get nobody with me.
No, you're by yourself, man.
I got a picture. I'm going to go like a picture of my wife, probably not allowed to share. That would probably be my go-to. Most people probably say family, but if I'm being honest. But then wrestling match I would watch would probably be like, maybe the Burroughs Dake trilogy. Let's just give me the trilogy, the finals of that, when it was so close to the end of all 3 of those matches. Just phenomenal in Lincoln. That's the one I'm talking about. And then what was the other question?
One song you get to listen to. You like
one song?
Yeah.
I got to have something good going. Oh, man. There's so many different things, but I'm just going to plug myself. Like, I'll probably just bring my own song, I got a couple songs on Spotify. You can check them out. If you just Google or search on Spotify or pretty much any other streaming device, Highlight Humphrey, they'll all come up. And you can check me out.
So how many songs have you recorded?
Two. I got a couple more coming, but maybe. I don't know. I do a very side. Whenever the flow hits me, I'll write it down.
You are out of the hot box. I appreciate you doing this, and thanks for taking us through the New Jersey RTC. Can't wait to see you keep dancing and throwing your wife into the pool with a suplex.
All right, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.